Recording in progress.
There you go.
I'll start over.
Sorry.
Let me go ahead and do the introduction, Vicki, and then we'll move on. Hello, everyone. My name is Meg Brown. I'm with Do Tell Story Swap, and we are based in Sonoma County. Today is September 10th, and we will have a little bit of a shorter swap today because we have a lot of people on vacation and also some folks who are watching the debate. But we're going to have stories tonight, regardless, to distract us from all of that. And I'd like to introduce to you our first teller, Renu.
Thank you. A very good evening to all of you. I just got back from South Korea and I'm excited to be here again sharing a story. Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. The chant came from a monastery high up on the side of a mountain. The chant came flowing down with the early morning breeze and went down, down, down the mountain and touched all the plants, the flowers, the butterflies. The dogs that had been barking were calmed, crying babies stopped crying, and there was an air of calm and peace and beauty in the air as the chanting went on. High up on the mountain, the master sat just at a little higher than the students. After the chanting was over, the students dispersed. Some of them went into the monastery to sweep and mop the place. Others went into the nearby forest to gather firewood for the food. Some of them got ready to cook the simple meal that they would all share together. After their chores were done and they had had their breakfast, they sat down again in front of their master and started their lessons. But every morning, just before the lesson started, the master would say, "Whatever you think, whatever you say, whatever you do, remember, someone is watching." And the students always wondered, especially the new ones that had joined that year, who is watching us? Is it the master? Is it some student who has joined years ago is watching us? Or is it God himself? But nobody ever knew the answer. Every single day, the master would say, "Whatever you think, whatever you say, whatever you do, someone is watching." The days went on. Students came from far and wide to study under this master. He was known to be a man of high thinking and simple living. Life at the monastery was harsh. There were hardly any facilities for the students, but still they came in droves because the master was so good at what he did. Every day it was the same routine. Waking up in the morning, chanting, doing their chores, doing their lessons, and then early to bed. Now one day, the master called them and said, "Seasons are changing, winter is fast approaching, so we must be careful to ensure that we conserve our energy. It's going to be terribly, terribly cold, so I want you students to be very prepared for the winter." Now one day, just before winter was actually approaching, and one night there was a terrible, terrible storm. It started off with a very simple breeze that was starting to grow a little stronger and stronger. And then as the evening progressed into night, the storm broke out. Da-dum, 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 da-dum. There were claps of thunder. There was flashes of lightning across the sky. And then the skies opened up and there was a deluge of water that fell upon the monastery. And the monks, the students, they sat together, huddled up, shivering with cold and fear. They had no idea what was going to happen next. Even the master had never experienced such a severe storm. The thunder continued, the lightning went on, the rain seemed unstoppable. And suddenly, just as it was appearing to become dawn, there was a huge gust of wind that howled to the windows of the monastery, and suddenly 75% of the roof was ripped off and carried away by the wind. Now the water was directly falling onto the monks, and they all sat there wondering why the master was not bothered about them. Was he not concerned about their safety? But there was no sign of him. And just as a thin sliver of sunlight came into the monastery, that's when the storm finally subsided. The students slowly came out one by one, and they looked at the monastery. It was in complete ruins. There was no way anyone could actually live there anymore. And as they stood there and gazed at the open sky, the master came along. And as soon as he saw them, he knew exactly what was happening in their mind. He went to them and said, "Students, we cannot live here anymore. I want every one of you to please go back home. And when the winter is done and summer is back, all of you are welcome to come back." "What about you, master?" they asked. "This is my home. I will continue staying here. I'm used to it," master said. "No, no, master. We cannot leave you here. We will stay here with you. But we need to fix the monastery, master. How shall we do that?" "Well, my students, you know very well, we are poor monks. We have no money. We cannot fix the monastery. So please go back home." "Surely, master, there is some way. Please, please show us the way. Please show us the way." "Well, there's only one thing we can do," said the master. "All of you assemble here as soon as the evening sets in. I want all of you in pairs. You shall all go down this mountain, down to the villages far below. You shall enter the houses of the villagers without making a sound or being heard or seen. You shall go in and steal whatever you can find which is precious, which we can sell and make enough money to build the monastery." They were shocked. As soon as they dispersed, they all started whispering, "What is wrong? What is wrong with the master? Is he fake? He tells us that whatever we think, whatever we say, whatever we do, someone is watching. And what is he saying? That we should go and steal?" Some of them said, "It's okay. The master says it's okay to do. We do need a monastery to stay and people have enough to share with us. Yes, we must do it." And others had nothing to say. They were just quiet. That evening, everybody came back again. They assembled together. And the master said, "Now, it's time for you to go. There is no moon to show the light, but you have to be careful. Remember, it is steep. There will be small pebbles. You might slip and fall. So be very, very careful. Go slowly. Watch out. Carry on." And so they all formed pairs and they started going down very, very carefully with not even a torch to light their way. Only one boy continued to stand there with his head down. Master looked at him and said, "Gompu, aren't you going to listen to me? I am the master. I've given you your orders. Please go." But Gompu refused to answer. His head was still down. "Gompu, what is wrong?" That's when Gompu looked up. "Master, you always tell us whatever we think, whatever we say, whatever we do, someone is watching." "Yes, Gompu, who is that someone?" "There is someone watching, master. There is someone. Someone is watching what I am thinking, what I am saying, what I am doing. And that someone is me, master. It's me. And then I'm watching myself. How can I steal, master? I cannot steal, master. Please don't ask me to steal, master." The master smiled, came and placed his hand on Gompu's shoulder and said, "I'm very happy to hear this, Gompu. You're the only one who understood the true meaning of the words. Now go and call them back before they do something wrong." As Gompu left, the master sat down. "Buddham sharanam gacchami, dhammam sharanam gacchami, sangham sharanam gacchami." Thank you.
Very, very nice. Very nice, Renu. What a great lesson right there. Listen and do what you hear and know is right. That's great. That's a really nice and very nicely told. I like the drama of the storm and the despair of having the monastery destroyed and everything. It's really very good. And I like the way you speak it. I like the kind of songing, but very clear. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Deb, are you with us?
I am listening. Thank you. I'm here.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you want to tell your story You say it's a fairly short one, and we'd love to hear it.
It's more of an outline of a story,
Okay.
and I just it's an outline of a story. If you'd like to hear it,
Yes.
okay. Okay, I'll just give you the outline. It may be a 2-minute story here if you don't mind, or I can polish it up. But I thought I'd give it just as it seemed a timely sort of subject.
Sure.
So the wolves and the foxes have always gotten along. They've always known their territories they had to stay in, and they've made a good living on the land, sort of gleaning off of the farmers' chickens and the farmers' sheep. But the wolves, they decided we want chickens too. Now the fox was too small to run down the sheep, but he said, "No, this is our terrain. This is what we need for our food." And so Wolf says, "No, well, I have a right to be here." And they got into a big thing. They got up in each other's faces and were yelling back and forth. And okay, wait, I don't know. This is a story, by the way, for children, possibly. Here's Fox. So they were yelling back and forth with each other, and then suddenly, someone had an idea. One of the wiser old foxes. Why don't we have a debate? We will decide which one is right, and we won't bite. We won't fight. We will have a debate, and we will get the truth out of this. So they have a debate. The foxes gather together up on the fence posts and up on the roofs, and the wolves down below in the farm outside the fence. And they start to discuss. Each one has a representative who speaks for them. And they begin to criticize the other one. And then this one says, "You're criticizing me too much." And this one says, "Well, I have critical thinking. You don't have enough critical thinking." And then this fox says, "Wait a minute, critical thinking, isn't that when you think how to fix things and what's logical?" And they didn't even know the meaning of criticize and critical thinking. So anyway, while they were busy nose to nose arguing, the coyotes were getting together and sneaking into the hen house and running down the sheep. And the coyotes got all the hens and all the sheep. So you might say that the foxes and the wolves lost that debate by just a whisker. There you go. That's just a start outline. And that was inspired by some words I heard in the real world. So I'm working on it. A little outline. Thank you.
Yeah,
and I thank you for being here. I just said I wanted to come because I know anybody who's here tonight is the nuts and bolts. Is that the word? The nuts and bolts. I'm one of the nuts, but the nuts and bolts of storytelling here. And I appreciate you coming in tonight. And it has always made the world seem a kinder, closer place for me to have storytelling groups. And so I want to just let you know, you guys are great and inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb. I love it. And this debate is just so timely, isn't it? And isn't that what happens is when you're fighting over the same things?
I thought definitely a timely
cautionary tale.
Yeah.
That's a great one. That's really got some good lessons in it, and I think it's very, very cute. And because you have the characters in there, the fox.
I never thought I could come up with a fable, but I always thought I should try. So I'm working on a fable. I always thought you had to be Aesop. And I really appreciate it in the stories. I don't know where everyone's stories come from, but I know they come from us in our minds. Yes, we got the minds. Thanks.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I can actually just jump right off of what you just said because my mother was a children's librarian, and so she loved to tell the children's stories. And when we were camping this last month, we had the family sitting around the campfire and we decided to tell stories. And my daughter told this story that I'm going to tell to you tonight. That was one of the ones that my mom would tell. not only to the children who came to the library for story time, but also to all of us. And so even though it might be a children's story, it's still so much fun. So, and as far as where these stories can come from, one of the things that I want to do is start exploring more of the Catherine Barely stories, because I realize that there's a treasure trove there that I've been really kind of not taking advantage of. So remember that on the summary page of the website, Sharon posts those stories. So you can look in there and see one that just catches your eye and work that one up, and you'll be golden. The one that I'm going to tell tonight, besides the fact that my mom told it, but I couldn't remember it as well as my daughter did. And so I ordered a book from the library called 20 Tellable Tales. And it's by Margaret Reed MacDonald. And it's it's audience participation folk tales for beginning storytellers, but it's got a lot of really great stories in it, as I've found. So I'm going to tell you this one, and it is called The Little Rooster and the Turkish Sultan. So somewhere, someplace far away, there was an old woman, and she had a little rooster, and she loved it very much, and the little rooster loved the old woman. Well, one day the little rooster was out in the yard along the road, and he was pecking, looking for food and seeds and insects. And he pecked. And what did he find? A diamond button. He was so excited. He thought, oh, I want to take this home to my old lady. Well, just about that time, down the road comes a Turkish sultan. Oh, he was very fancy dressed. He had on a linen white turban and a silk shirt and a velvet embroidered vest. And he had on these enormous pantaloons. Oh, they were so big that he had to have 3 servants to help him carry them as he walked along. And he was really a very big man. So you can imagine those pantaloons were really big. So he came along and he saw that the little chicken had this diamond button. He said, I want that diamond button for myself. And he told his servants to go and take it away from the little rooster and put it in his treasury room. So they did. They caught the little rooster. They took the diamond button away, and they all went to the Sultan's castle. Well, this made the little rooster very angry. And so he flew up onto the windowsill of the Sultan's palace, and he said, cock-a-doodle-doo, give me back my diamond button. Give me back my diamond button. And he made such a ruckus that the Sultan said to his servants, you go and catch that little rooster, and you throw him in the deepest well that we've got, and you drown him where he will drown. And so the servants ran, they caught the rooster, and they threw him into a very full well of water, and for dead. Well, now the little rooster had a secret. He had a magic stomach. And so he said to his little magic stomach, magic stomach, drink all this water, drink it all up. And the magic stomach, it drank up all the water. It drank and drank until it was totally full. And the little rooster, he was pretty heavy. And he got out of the well and he flew back up onto the windowsill of the castle. And he said, Sultan of Turkey, you give me back my diamond button. Give me back my diamond button. Oh, now the Turkish Sultan was not very happy about that. He was getting more and more angry. And he said to his servants, you go and you catch that rooster and you throw him into the fire where he will burn all the way up. And so the servants went and they caught the little rooster and they took him in, put him in the fire that was just burning so bright and so hot, and left him there for dead. Well, now the little rooster said to his stomach, magic stomach, pour out all that water, pour out that water on this fire and put it out. And so that's what the magic stomach did. It put out the fire, and the little rooster, again, he flew up to the windowsill of the Turkish Sultan and he said, Turkish Sultan, give me back my diamond button. Give me back my diamond button. Well, now the Turkish Sultan was furious, and he said to his servants, you go and you catch that little rooster, and this time you put him in the beehive and let the bees sting him to death. And so that's what the servants did. They caught the little rooster, and they took him and they put him in the beehive, and there were all the bees. And now, because the little rooster's stomach was empty, he said, magic stomach, eat up all these bees, eat them all up. And so the magic stomach took all those bees into its stomach, but they didn't sting him because he's a magic stomach. So once again, the little rooster flew up onto the windowsill, and he said, Turkish Sultan, give me back my diamond button. Give me back my diamond button. Ah, the Turkish Sultan said, what should I do? What should I do? And one of his servants said, well, you could hang him. And the other one said, you could chop off his head. And the third one said, you know, you're really heavy. Why don't you just put him in your pantaloons and sit on him and crush him to death? Well, the Sultan liked that idea. So he had them put the little rooster into the bottom of his big flowing pantaloons, and the Turkish Sultan sat on the little rooster, and the little rooster said, magic stomach, let go all of the bees, let them go. And they all flew out of the magic stomach and into the pantaloons of that Turkish Sultan, and they stung him and stuck him until he said, stop it. And he said, servants, go catch that little rooster and take him to the throne room and give him back his diamond button. And so they did. They took the little rooster to the treasure room, and they left him there alone. Well, the little rooster, he looked around and he saw all the diamonds and rubies and emeralds and gold and silver and treasure. And he saw his little diamond button. And he thought, now his magic stomach was empty again. And so he opened up his mouth and he ate up all of the treasure, all of it. And so then he went home to his old lady, and he gave her all of the riches, and they lived a very happy life.
Oh, yeah. That's all right.
So that's my story of the magic stomach. All right, guys. So that's anybody else? Hi, Vina. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Anybody else want to go ahead and chime in with a story, simple, polished, not polished, just whatever? Or shall we just say, yeah, this is a little bit of a shorter swap than we normally have.
I think it's been wonderful. I love the stories we did here. Every one of them was wonderful.
It's sometimes not quantity, is it? It's
Yes,
all
it's quality. Yes.
quality. And quality is what we make it. And really, I'm always so thankful to hear everyone's story, and just they're enlightening and entertaining, and a much better way of spending the evening than watching television right now.
Right now, especially, yes.
Yes. So,
Let me tell you that Kamala is killing Trump. So you've watched a good show. I mean, you've missed the good show.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Oh, she's doing great, great. And he's just stumbling around, throwing accusations around. I mean, that's what I say. We'll see what.
Has he had any name calling yet, Vina?
No,
Oh,
no
yeah.
name calling yet. No.
Such a
But a
name
lot of-
caller, I swear. Yeah. Well, I know my husband is recording it, so I'll have to watch some of it.
Ah, good idea. Oh,
But
you'll
it's
like it.
better. It's better
She's like-
because my blood pressure goes up a lot, and
Yeah.
so I love that fast forward button.
Yeah, yeah.
Give me back my fast forward button, folks. So, okay.
Okay, well, I'm gonna stop recording.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.